All right, this is an emergency broadcast after new information just dropped about the Trump Tower Cybertruck driver, Matthew Livelsberger, the 18-year active-duty Green Beret who drove the Tesla Cybertruck outside Trump Tower in Las Vegas. You know the rest. Well, we posted a video about this 2 days ago, right when it happened, and said then that this whole thing isn't what it looks like. It doesn't appear to be at all what it looks like. There is too much about the incident that doesn't add up. Most importantly, you have a decorated 18-year active-duty special operator, this guy, Matthew Livelsberger, who had TSSCI level clearance, meaning access to the most sensitive and classified black ops in our military. And now something incredible just happened. Sam's shoemate just came forward with Sean Ryan to share, apparently the real story, what really happened. They say, according to these emails, according to this video, that it's not at all what it looks like. And it turns out this guy, Matthew Livelsberger, wasn't an attacker. He was a whistleblower, blowing the whistle on a major U.S. government cover-up linked to, you won't even believe it, the New Jersey drones. You can't make this up. Wait till you hear this. But before we get started, thank you for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps out the channel. And consider subscribing so you don't miss these regular updates. So before we play Sam's shoemate for you and we show you the emails that were sent, just know, if this is true, if this all pans out, which it appears it's going to, this won't only blow the lid off the whole New Jersey drone mystery, but also corroborate what David Grusch said last year. Another whistleblower said last year in 2023 to Congress that it would also make sense why this happened in front of Trump Tower, which we're going to get into. This entire story just got layers more complicated. But here's what we know right now. Matthew Livelsberger, the man allegedly driving the Cybertruck that, you know what happened outside Trump Tower. Our video about this 2 days ago got flagged, so we have to be careful what we say. He was, in fact, an 18-year active-duty Green Beret special operator with TSSCI clearance. It's the highest military and intel clearance you can have. It allows you to be read into certain black projects. For context, only 8 members of the U.S. Congress have this clearance level. The Gang of 8, who have TSSCI clearance for oversight purposes. Well, this guy that the media's been telling us went off the deep end? It turns out that's not at all what happened. Possibly, at least according to Sam's shoemate and Sean Ryan, who say Matthew Livelsberger may actually be a whistleblower about, or was about to blow the lid off, the New Jersey drones and UAP. You can't make this up. Watch.
Do you want to read the email?
Yep. So this email came in on December 31st at 10:42 a.m. That is Tuesday. He said, in case I do not make it to my decision point or onto the Mexico border, I am sending this now. Please do not release this until 1 January and keep my identity private until then. First off, I am not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2006 black Ford Mustang V6 for verification. What we have been seeing with drones, he puts that in quotes, he says drones, is the operational use of Gravitic propulsion systems powered aircraft by most recently China and the East Coast, but throughout history, the US. Only we in China have this capability. Our OPSEN, that's Operation Center, our OPSEN location for this activity is in the box below. China has been launching them from the Atlantic from submarines for years, but this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it is just a show of force, and they are using it similar to how they use the balloon for SIGINT and ISR, which are also part of the integrated comm system. There are dozens of those balloons in the air at any given time. The so what is because of the speed and stealth of these unmanned aircraft. They are the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. They basically have an unlimited payload capacity and can park it over the White House if they wanted. It's checkmate. U.S. government needs to give the history of this, how we are employing it and weaponizing it, how China is employing them and what the way forward is. China is poised to attack anywhere in the East Coast. I've been followed for over a week now from likely Homeland or FBI, and they are looking to move on me and are unlikely going to let me cross into Mexico, but won't because they know I am armed and I have a massive V-bid. Let me pause right there for a second. So he says a massive V-bid. When I was talking to the FBI yesterday, they didn't know what a V-bid was. I had to explain a V-bid. For your audience who has not been in the Govt for the last 20 years, a V-bid is a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device in layman's terms, a car, what we saw at Trump Tower. So backing up, he says, I am armed and have a massive VBID. I've been trying to maintain a very visible profile and have kept my phone, and they are definitely digitally tracking me. Here's where he gets into the other stuff. And this is where we had to redact the names. Well, your producer redacted the names. I have knowledge of this program and also war crimes that were covered up during airstrikes in Nimruz province, Afghanistan in 2019 by the admin, DOD, DEA, and CIA. I conducted targeting for these strikes of over 125 buildings. 65 were struck because of CivCAS, that's civilian casualty strikes, after spotting civilians on initial ISR. It was supposed to take 6 minutes and scramble all aircraft in CENTCOM. The UN basically called these war crimes, but the administration made them disappear. I was part of that cover-up with US FORA, an agent, redacted, of the DEA. So I don't know if my abduction attempt is related to either. I worked with, redacted, IO staff on this as well as the response to Bala Murghab. Redacted commander at the time, redacted, can validate this. You need to elevate this to the media so we avoid a world war because this is a mutually assured destruction situation. Then he says, for vetting, my LinkedIn is Matt Berg or Matthew Livelsberger, an active duty 18 Zulu out of 110, that's 1st Battalion 10th Special Forces Group. My profile is public. I have an active TSSCI with UAP, USAP access.
What is USAP? Do you know what that is?
I don't know what that is. But I checked his credentials on LinkedIn. So that was the first thing I did. I went to his LinkedIn page. First thing I noticed was all of his bona fides were in place. He has all the UAS training from USASOC and everything else. And so I said, okay, at least the guy knows what he's talking about with drones. That was a very rough dig into the guy. But my issue was I couldn't validate or verify any of this information. And I told him that. And how I responded to him was in a subsequent email. I said, this is obviously a very big deal, but I don't have anything to verify this information with. Talking about gravitic propulsion systems without evidence just makes me another UFO talking head. Like, I'm not going to go on my social media page and start talking about UFOs and anti-gravity systems and everything. I don't know what you're talking about. I can't. And he said, can I get on Fox News Contact on Signal as well as Sean's show? Hegseth would be good too. That was his last message to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, what is a gravitic propulsion system?
To be honest, gravitic propulsion is an alternate power source used by UAP. It's anti-gravity, something that's very highly classified, something that they'll tell you doesn't even exist. But whistleblowers have claimed the US government is in possession of craft powered by anti-gravity, and that this legacy UAP program has been reverse engineering it, or at least trying to. Now, what's crazy about this is that earlier today, before all of this, CNN confirmed Matthew did, in fact, have these clearance levels. He was read into some of the most sensitive military programs at the Pentagon, and it looks like he was very uncomfortable with what he learned, that he believed the American people need to know about this, and that he was blowing the whistle. Wild. Now, for some context, here's what David Grusch, another high-level whistleblower, said when he went in front of Congress last year. Dave Grusch, 100% the real deal here. He was in front of Congress telling them what the keepers of the secrets did to him when they found out he was trying to get to the bottom of UAP. Watch.
Okay, so there has been activity by alien or non-human technology and or beings that has caused harm to humans.
I can't get into the specifics in an open environment, but at least the activity that I personally witnessed, and I have to be very careful here because they tell you never to acknowledge tradecraft, right? So what I personally witnessed myself and my wife was very disturbing.
I just wanted to follow up on Representative Raskin's questions. In the last couple of years, have you had incidences that have caused you to be in fear for your life for addressing these issues?
Yes, personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want everyone to note that he's coming forward in fear of his life. To put in perspective, if they were really not scared about this information coming out, why would someone be intimidated like that?
So we know this legacy UAP program is real. Investigative reporter Michael Schellenberger has also confirmed it. I spoke to a handful of first-hand sources who work inside the legacy program, deep inside our intel agencies. The program that was called Immaculate Constellation. Here's Michael Schellenberger reporting to Congress under oath a few months ago about this program. Roll the tape.
Alleging that a new unnamed government whistleblower has come forward asserting that a highly classified program exists dedicated to recovery and reverse engineering of UAP technologies. What can you give us what specific evidence you have or that your source provided you to substantiate the claims about the existence of the Immaculate Constellation program?
Well, you have the report in front of you now, so you can see it for yourself. I checked the report, and I did not find it based on existing cases. It was new cases for me. I hadn't found anybody. So that answered for me that it was not obviously circular reporting, which is one of the big concerns in this space. I also had the name of the program confirmed by more than one additional source. So yeah, and then of course I checked to make sure that the source was who they claimed to be.
And we will hear testimony today concerning recent revelations about a purportedly secret UAP program whose existence and findings may have been improperly withheld from Congress. But before we get to the witnesses, we're going to have a few more opening statements from our colleagues. And one thing I wanted to add at the end of my closing statement is there is a document that will be entered into the congressional record today. Mr. Tim Burchett from Tennessee has this document, and we just distributed it to every member up here on the dais of this document. But this is going to be the original document from the Pentagon about Immaculate Constellation that Michael Schellenberger delivered to Congress today. So thank you, Mr. Schellenberger, for this information. We are all reading it in real time now, and Mr. Burchett will enter it into the record. But 12 pages about this unacknowledged special access program that your government says does not exist.
So look, the fact that Matthew was diligent enough to send this info out, that Sam Shoemate before his unfortunate end on the 1st was smart. We may have never learned any of this otherwise. And this won't be the last we're hearing about this. There's a fight for disclosure on this right now. It's been happening behind the scenes for years. Almost all of Trump's cabinet are huge proponents of UAP disclosure. He picked them for a reason. Could this be some kind of message to Donald Trump? I don't know. It's looking like that. Trump could be the disclosure president. There are a lot of members of Congress who are fighting for disclosure right now, and they're lining things up in the government for Trump to roll some of this information out. We'll have to see. But things just took a crazy left turn here. We're going to keep you posted as we learn more. All right, that wraps up this episode. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.